Welcome to Dirt Lifestyle Hunt and Homestead. Today we're going to build a greenhouse. Last year I bought a fixer-upper on several acres here in Washington State. This place is full of projects, and the whole mission, the whole reason of selling our place in the city and moving out into the country is the want and need to become more self-sufficient, provide a better life for my kids, and a place to sharpen skills that I think are going to be very necessary for now and moving forward in the world. This is my friend Nick. He's an expert greenhouse builder. That's why we have him over here. How many have you built, Nick?
This will be my first.
What? He lied on his resume. This is a very expensive greenhouse kit, but I had to weigh how much my hours are worth for me to take 2 weeks to build one of these from scratch versus 2 days to set this thing up. And based on all the videos I've seen online, we should be able to get this thing 100% in like 2 days worth of work, so we'll see. I've got some cool toys, yes, but we are not made of money. The only reason we can afford a greenhouse that's this expensive is because we sold our last house in Tacoma before moving, and we made some money on that, and instead of like taking some big fancy expensive trip, we are reinvesting that into the property. And building a cheap, flimsy plastic greenhouse doesn't feel like it's going to add any more value to the property like this unit should. So on this side, this is number one.
Oh, is that where they join then?
And this side is number two. Oh, that makes sense.
1 to 2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2.
So is
yeah.
So
this is the other side of 2.
Yeah. So that'd be 2, 3.
Wow. Okay.
Or 2. Yeah. 2, 1. I guess. That's weird.
It feels weird.
Maybe it'll make sense when we're in there.
Yeah. The instructions don't exactly tell you what order to put the panels in, but they have 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s marked from panel to panel to panel, so we're just matching up one side to one side, the 2 side to 2 side, and going from there.
Other channels you got lined up? Dirt Lifestyle Stamp and Coin Collecting? Dirt Lifestyle Cooking Show?
I'm not mentally prepared for you to bust my balls right now, Nick.
You're already cooking. I'm going. Gotta eat dinner, Nate.
Dirt Lifestyle Cooking, dude. I was thinking of putting cooking on this one. This channel is just going to be whatever outdoorsy related stuff I want it to be. As you can see, I've already put a foundation down, and I'm going to go over some of those details later on in the video, but for now you can see all we're doing is just laying up one panel at a time, screwing it down to the foundation. Once we level this first piece, we're going to be able to just join piece after piece, and then I think once we turn that first corner, it's going to start to move pretty quickly. Yeah, I wanted something to be long enough to go through the top plate, through the top 4x4, and into the bottom 4x4. It just felt like that would be a better connection. Well, we're officially greenhouse builders, Nick. Update the resume. Okay, so now 2 to 3. If you've ever built a wall from scratch, where you're doing the framing, you're installing windows, you're putting the siding on, you can see in real time we are saving a ton of money by going this route. Sorry, not a ton of money. We're spending more money, but we're saving a ton of time by going this route. But there are some little hiccups that we're going to run into, being that this is a universal pre-made structure. In installing the first wall, we have found our first big problem. This is our problem. Not good. That's probably 3/8 to 1/2 of an inch. Now, we did double check our foundation, and this is supposed to be 24. We're actually at like 24 1/4-ish. So our foundation is actually bigger than it should be, and we still have that gap. And I think I figured out what's going on. I'm able to cinch these pieces of lumber very tight, but as you can see, the bottom plate just has these tiny little gaps. So even though what I'm doing is super tight, that is not tight. This one is probably the biggest one. That is not tight. So the solution I came up with is we're fine up to like here. So I left all of our really long screws in here, backed those out. And as you can see, actually this is wide, like kind of all the way across. And all those 1/8 gaps added up. And now we're at a point where I've got to use a hammer to try to fix it. Okay. Oh yeah, that one's super tight there. We're tight-ish here. I don't know how to get that any tighter. Oh, and then it starts to get apart there. Dang. And like I said, there is a broken piece of glass, which is a real bummer. I think it was probably shipped like that, and they expect you to figure it out on site. I don't know. I don't want to sound too cynical here. I'm very happy with this unit. We just need to get it installed and make it to our math is mathing a little bit better. That's actually pretty good. We found 2 broken windows so far.
Shit. 3.
3 broken windows?
Yeah, just a little guy there.
I mean,
what do we do?
I don't know how we can. I mean, they're going to want to blame the shipping company.
And there's no way we would have been able to check that without taking every panel apart.
What's so frustrating, because it said on the side of the, whenever they delivered it, it said, don't let the delivery driver leave until you've inspected all these. It's like, they're not going to stand around for an hour.
No.
While we peel all this apart.
I mean, more than an hour.
It's not practical to put it on the delivery company. One, it's not the delivery company. I mean, this is like in between everything, and it's broken.
Yeah.
There's nothing touching the glass. It was broken, but Cassidy, this is not the time, sweetie. Can you go in the house? Yeah. This is turning into a disaster. We have broken siding. We have 3 broken windows so far. And based on the fact that these were out of order, because they were labeled like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, everything that's broken is on the inside, where it's the most protected. I don't want to point any fingers at the manufacturer, but it certainly seems like that would be a good way to hide your broken stuff so that people don't see it when they take delivery of it, would be to put your broken stuff in the middle of the pallet instead of on the outsides of the pallet, where it makes sense that it would get damaged. But here in the middle, I hope that it's a good company, and I hope that they're willing to work with us on this, because this is not good. I'm sorry, wife.
That's okay.
I talked her into spending all this money.
We'll figure it out.
Boy. To be completely honest, this isn't that big of a deal. And luckily for us, it's just cracks in windows. It's not like there's glass everywhere or anything like that. And we're still going to fire off an email, give the manufacturer the opportunity to make it right for us, and just see what they say. In the meantime, we're going to put everything together. We're going to work as late as I feel comfortable, and then pick it back up in the morning and see what we can get done on the second day. You can almost see the progress we made last night from my office. I'm finishing up an edit, and Nick is almost here, so I need to get down. We're going to continue this project, but I did realize last night as I was going to bed that I haven't talked about the foundation at all, so I should probably do that real quick, and then we can get to the next step of this greenhouse. I don't have any footage of the foundation work because I did it before I thought I was going to make this a video, but basically what I did is I used my mini excavator, I leveled everything by eye, and then I dug a T-shaped drain and put 3-inch black corrugated pipe in the ground. I then covered that with a whole bunch of drain rock, and then I covered that with a whole bunch of this 5/8 crushed rock. And the whole concept is that if I spill any water, anything in there, it's all going to go to the drain system, and then it's going to drain out the back of the hill, and it's not going to make this very mushy area even mushier. So once I got that done, I rented a laser transit, and I actually made sure that every single point of this foundation is exactly level, and not using levels, but using a laser transit. If you ever used a laser transit, you know how accurate it is, and that's why I decided to go a little bit overkill. So my foundation is structurally like perfect in terms of it being level, and that was leveled before and after anchoring it with a whole bunch of sections of 4-foot rebar. So in order to finish, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 more of the long screws, the long expensive ones. But I think it's worth it in order to make sure everything is joined together. Also, I don't know if I've mentioned this, I can't keep track of the things I say. The foundation is anchored into the ground with 4-foot lengths of rebar. And yeah, we pounded those in, and there's 20 of them to keep this thing from blowing away. The good news is where this is located, like, wind has a hard time even getting here. But I still wanted to make sure that this isn't gonna float away on us from wind or otherwise. I'll get hardware. Do you want to start on the top plates?
Yeah.
There should be, I know in the instructions it had some top plate. Is that what these are?
That is some of them.
Okay.
6 foot lengths.
Okay.
And then.
Well, let's do some top plate action. By the time I get back with the screws, we can finish anchoring it into the foundation and get started on a ceiling. Now we're at the point where we're going to divide and conquer. Nick is going to do these top plates. When I get back, I'm going to screw down the bottom plates, and then I'm going to start working on the soffits. But before I start working on the soffits, I'm going to lay Nick out on how to do the trusses. We're going to snap a nice straight line to make it easy for him to measure and get all of the trusses assembled all in a row. Sure, that's all it needs. 1 1/4 inch screw.
Yeah, look go.
And I'm gonna do something that every safety officer in America would be very upset about. I'm gonna share a ladder with you.
We'll pull the other 24s from the other side.
I'm building this greenhouse in between making videos for my other channel, which is the off-road channel. So that's what you're seeing us work in tonight often, and we're kind of hopping around from month to month. It's basically like when I see that we might have a free afternoon or something. And we're not working to midnight or anything like that, but you can see we're working till it's dark. And this time of year, that probably means like 6 or 7. But it sure makes for a dramatic video to see us just working into night under headlamps all the time. And that's just because I live so far north. Anyway.
Okay.
While we've been making progress out there, it's time for me to start planting and germinating seeds and stuff inside the house. This downstairs area is kind of the junk drawer of the house, unfortunately. But we are slowly starting to get some things in order. We know we want a couch here and a TV there. And then the rest of it, I mean, we're working on it. But there's such a good window here for us to grow stuff. So... but now that we have these lights, I suppose we don't even need a window. Either way, these lights are what we've been using to germinate with heat mats. And these are really inexpensive Amazon lights. Well, these are Amazon lights too. But these lights are like 30 bucks. And these lights are like $100. So we watched a video. I'll put the name of the video right here for those of you that are interested. And the guy went through and he compared with the exact same seeds, the exact same soil, everything, with cheap Amazon lights, these like $30 ones, mid-level Amazon lights, which are $100 a piece, and then $300 Amazon lights, which are $300 a piece. These are the $100 ones. And what he determined in the test is that these were by far the best bang for your buck. Because it's so cold in Washington for so long, every year we're gonna have to do a lot of growing plants inside where it's warm. And so this seemed like a worthwhile investment. Now, this is not pretty, and it's not long-term. My wife's about to go to Home Depot and to get 2 more hooks, 1 for each side, so that we can spread these out a little bit more. And then it'll put us in a position where we can continue to grow for the next month and a half or so while we build out the greenhouse, get power out there, all that other stuff that we want to do. And if you look at the results of that guy's video, these lights, it is just night and day. Considering we have like at least a month and a half more of growing plants inside, this should give us a much higher success rate over the less expensive lighting. I really feel like we're in the home stretch now. There's still quite a bit of lumber that needs to go up on this roof in order to make it solid. And then we need to do like some trim and some flashing and some different things like that. But once all that's done, we should theoretically just be able to lay plastic down on top of it. But of course, we ended up having like 4 or 5 straight weeks of rain, so I had to put it under a tarp. It's just par for the course for living in the Pacific Northwest. Well, that was a lot of rain. Let's see if we can't finish this thing. As you saw, the sides of the greenhouse are all glass windows, and I wanted like lots of light to be able to come in from multiple directions. And then the top is all just like a clear plastic. Because it's a clear plastic, I did want to take the time and paint where I wouldn't be able to reach with a paintbrush once the roof is on. So I rolled on a whole bunch of white outdoor paint to keep the wood from deteriorating over years. And then later on, maybe end of the summer or something like that, we'll come back in and we're gonna finish painting the entire inside and like finish building it out and stuff too. Right now, we're just kind of trying to get the whole operation going so I can start growing food and having fun. And then I'll get back to this later on. Yes. Mr. Dirt Lifestyle?
Yeah.
You rule, dude. Thank you so much for helping me button this up. We have a dried-in building.
We did it.
Oh my gosh.
Literally started raining the second you got the last screw.
I can't even believe that timing. That is nuts. Oh, we did it. Well, I look forward to seeing it in the daytime.
Me too.
I started the foundation last fall. I built the greenhouse throughout like the rainy season of winter. But I didn't want to wrap this video up as soon as we were done building the shell of this thing. I wanted to give you a tour of it working, it functioning, it's growing food, because I've watched a lot of greenhouse builds over the years, because this is something I've always wanted to do, and they never show them growing stuff. So I figured to put a nice bow on this thing, I'd show you some of the fruits, literal fruits of our labor. This is my harvest from yesterday, and it's not my first harvest. I've been harvesting every week for the last couple weeks, and we're at a point where we're about to be able to start harvesting bi-weekly, and this is good because we eat a ton of tomato-based foods in my house. So there's a lot of canning and freezing going on right now. Not to mention just the normal consuming. I could eat this like an apple. So let me put this down and we'll talk. The first mod that I did in here was shelving. I built the shelving. It came with some shelving wood, but not enough to do the whole structure. So I bought shelving, or I bought wood and built shelving for everything. And then I did trellising up and over the top. This is an expensive investment, but I think that if you build a solid enough structure, and like once this is painted and it's finished and we have power in here and all that, this is going to raise the value of the house, in my opinion, at least raise the sellability. And in the in-between, I'm not looking to move anytime soon. Oh man, I nicked that tomato. But in between time, I have the highest quality produce that you can't buy. Even when you buy something that says organic, there's certain things that they're allowed to spray on it, and I can tell you that this has never been sprayed with anything because I'm the guy who grew it. I'm able to control the pest issue myself without having to rely on any chemicals or anything. I'm able to control the temperature issue myself because we have a greenhouse. We're able to lock everything down. So we had like 5-foot tall plants in the beginning of May, because in April, like mid to late April, I was able to get at the same temperature in here that June temperatures are in Washington. So I was able to like make these plants think they were in June, and everything just took off. It is amazing. And I know that I was able to do that because I've got a thermostat on the wall and I was able to see exactly what temperatures there are. The only issue that I have right now is just keeping it cool enough because it's at the end of July, it's very hot. So I have a fan running, and eventually the plan is exhaust fans. Actually, let's talk about the tomato first, and then we'll talk about the long-term plans. If you think that this is expensive, and it is, you've got to save up a lot of money if you're going to build something like this. Consider the fact that this will pay you back in some tangible and intangible ways. The tangible ways are the fact that I'm holding what is probably a $5 tomato if I went to the grocery store, maybe even more than that. Organic food is extremely expensive, especially heirloom food. This is like my 7th or 8th that I've harvested off of the plant that I grew in here, and it's only July. Because I'm in a greenhouse, I'm able to extend my season further at the beginning and further at the end by like 2 months. These are all indeterminate plants. Actually, there's only one determinate tomato plant. And what that means is that indeterminates will keep growing like weeds until it's too cold for them to grow. So I'm gonna be able to extend my growing season probably into like November before I think everything's gonna die off, whereas usually it would be like a couple months before that. So all that to say is I'm going to produce a ton of produce. Awkward. I'm gonna produce a lot of fruit for myself in that time, and this is stuff that is very difficult to put a price on, because even when you buy organic food at the store, it is difficult to trust that it is in fact organic in the way that you and I think organic is. If you dig into that concept and that language, you will find that there are a lot of things that they can spray on stuff that you might not be comfortable with, that they can still say is organic and put a nice little happy sticker on there to make you feel good about buying it. Well, there's a certain intangible in growing your own food, and the fact that, I don't know how you put a value on this, but I have confidence that I know exactly what was sprayed on this because it's all my food. No one has sprayed anything on this. I'm controlling my pests with this structure that is around me. In this channel, I'm gonna build things like this, but I also wanna talk a lot about self-reliance, about insulating yourself against things going on in the economy, maybe some sort of like famine on whatever your favorite fruits or vegetables are. Famine, maybe that's the wrong word. Some sort of a collapse on your favorite fruits or vegetables just because of pests or what disease or whatever that could just wipe out a species, and then all of a sudden eggs cost a boatload of money, right? That could happen to this too. Before now, I have all of these favorite foods that I 100% rely on a system that is outside of my control. And what I like about self-reliance is I'm able to bring that control to myself. And if these plants die off, it's me, you know? So all that to say, the next topic, I guess, would be long-term plans for the greenhouse. If you enjoyed this video, I'll probably make another greenhouse video where it's gonna be all about mods. I want to collect rainwater out here. I'm gonna set up solar. This is gonna be completely off the grid of my house. And I'm gonna have a battery system out here, and I want this to be set up to where it automatically waters. I want it to be set up to where I have light switches on the walls, and all of it is gonna be self-contained, its own little unit out here using, I keep looking over here, at a portable battery bank. These portable battery banks are really powerful, and I think that I can use this as like just a permanent solution for portable power out here. And there's a number of other ideas that I have for mods of how to control temperature and a few other things out here. So if you're into that kind of thing, look forward to that. Now, I would like to walk around some of the rest of the property and show you what else I've been up to since we started this whole video. This is what I call my experimental garden. And as you'll see, more tomatoes. I like tomatoes a lot, and we have so many tomato-based foods that we're growing a lot of tomatoes and more peppers and some different things like that. We had snap peas, but those are already come and gone. There's some other things that have come and gone, and so we just cleared the bed out. But this is a bed that was mostly clay that I tilled up. I put a bunch of compost and things in, and I threw a whole bunch of mystery seeds that we didn't even know what they were. And it was a whole bunch of wildflowers, but they've already come and died off. Because the plan for this is next year, this is gonna be like for my kids. My kids love all these fresh vegetables too. So I want the ability for my kids to be able to walk up and just pluck food from here. This year, I just threw whatever seeds I could find. There were literally mystery seeds in the bottom of this giant Ziploc bag that was full of a ton of different types of seeds. So I just threw them all in there because I wanna try to get this soil good and healthy. I figure growing a big variety of things and then tilling it all back into it is gonna make it good for next year, so that this is gonna be kind of like a little snack forest for my kids next year. And then we've got a whole bunch of raised garden beds up there. These are asparagus, those are strawberries. Both of those come back every year, so I wanted to get those up and running. This is eventually going to be quite a few more of these raised raised garden beds. I've got onions, and then this empty one was a ton of beets and carrots. My kids eat carrots every day, so we grew these crazy carrots and harvested it all because it's time for the next crop to go and be rotated in there. Behind me, I have a garden bed that was just a part of the house, and I cleared a whole bunch of the stuff out, and we planted blueberries in there. And then the property grows blackberries like weeds. It's insane the amount. It's acres and acres and acres of blackberries. My kids picked blackberries for like a month straight last summer. They love doing it. And then we made so much blackberry jam that we're still eating it. We eat it like every day. It's my kid's favorite jam. So in terms of self-sufficiency and self-reliance, I think that if you can find an environment that naturally grows food like that, there's obviously a giant benefit to that. We also bought a house that already had an orchard, which is great. It wasn't like a must-have because I'm not really that big into apples, but whenever I saw they had an orchard, I was pretty pumped because it's just reoccurring food. A lot of the initial work has been done, and so now all we have to do is take care of the plants and harvest. Also, I'm gonna do 2 videos this fall. One is gonna be how to grow your own mushrooms. Now that I've experimented with it and I'm actively growing my own mushrooms and I'm doing like nothing to them, it's so easy. Especially if you live in an environment like this where you get a lot of rain and you can find a place on your property that's shaded. I found a place that's perfect underneath some trees, and they're growing edible mushrooms in an insane way. It's awesome. So, but we're at the tail end of those being able to produce, and so that's going to pick back up in the fall, and I will do a video on which varieties I'm eating. We've got wine caps and snow oysters are the 2 that we're growing right now, but I'm going to pick out a couple more varieties. I'll show you how I'm planting them and show you exactly what I'm doing to grow them. And then there's one more video I want to talk about. I'm going to do a video about food that grows like weeds. So basically like apocalypse food, that no matter what is going on, as long as it's not like Antarctica or something, you could be able to grow these crops. And I've found some and I've planted them on the property, but I want to eat them before I say, hey, these are awesome food, and try like share this information with you. One is Jerusalem artichokes. I've got a bed of them up there, and supposedly they're so prolific, you can't even get rid of them once you plant them. They're just insane. Like you could dig the whole bed up, and if you have a small chunk of one that you cut off with your shovel, it will regrow a whole bed. So look forward to that. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the new channel. I'm looking forward to sharing this part of my life with you guys. So thanks again. We'll see you later.